Hey, welcome back to the channel and welcome to a bit more of an organised studio, garage, shed type place. Bit of an echo because I've cleared an awful lot of the unnecessary rubbish knocking around here, so there's probably a bit of an echo. I'll try my best to make the audio sound half decent, but I'm in the process of trying to turn this space into a decent sort of like recording studio stroke photography studio stroke. Basically a better workspace than what it has been for the last 12 months. But I'm here today to talk about sort of like the film that is coming out. I'm about to release my 4th movie. I'm very excited by this one. There's definitely been an upgrade in not only the talent that sort of is performing with this. It's not just me. I've got a bit of a team together with this one, and yeah, I plan to sort of like push it a little bit more than sort of like my other ones where I've just been sort of cutting my teeth. So I want to tell you all about it, show you a little bit behind the scenes, how I made it, why I made it, and sort of the process it sort of takes, because this was a lot bigger really than what I'm used to. So yeah, I hope you enjoy it. Of course, if you do, you know what to do with the likes and all that, but we'll talk more about that in a second. But for now, grab yourself a drink, sit yourself down, and let's get into the video. Hey everybody, and welcome back to another video. And yeah, it's been a bit of a crazy couple of weeks. I've been sort of like really sort of focused on what I can do for my next film. It's my 4th movie, as I mentioned before, and I've really sort of upped the game for this particular one. It was unintentional. I didn't mean for it to happen. I did sort of like expect it to be a little bit more sort of professional looking, because I have made 3 in the past, and I feel that my techniques and my sort of creativeness has definitely improved a little bit. My previous film, Unhealthy Addiction, is doing really well within the sort of the film sort of festival circuit. We have so far been entered into 3 out of the 7 sort of film festivals that I've entered it in, and yeah, it's getting a bit of a buzz, and I'm starting to get a bit of a following on Instagram from these type of industry professionals, and I sort of want to keep on rolling along with that. So yeah, the acting side of my career has definitely sort of taken the sort of lead over anything else. Yes, I'm still doing photography work, but it's mainly for clients, not for personal stuff, hence the reason why the videos have been more focused on that side. But I am going to talk to you about my new film, which is called Been Here Before. Now, I did in fact change the title to this movie. It wasn't originally called that. It was originally going to be called What Is This? What Is This? And you know, the change of the title is quite simply that I was trying to sort of definitely find the right soundtrack. I've been sort of banging on about how important music is within sort of like your visuals and your videos, and I was trying to find the perfect song for my particular film. Even before I started shooting it, I wanted to sort of like a feel to it. Going along the lines of like Quentin Tarantino, Guy Ritchie, Edgar Wright, who uses music as a way of telling the story as well. Like, these are filmmakers that I find inspiring. When I watch their movies, I feel that even, you know, especially Baby Driver. Baby Driver is probably the perfect example of how you can use music to try to emphasize your story. And Edgar Wright is an absolute genius at this sort of portrayal. I love the soundtracks of Quentin Tarantino's movies. Like Reservoir Dogs was literally my sort of like go-to listening, chilling soundtrack when I was growing up. And yeah, like it being Tarantino's very first feature film, you could just sort of see the sort of trajectory that he was going in. And if you just listen to the music in his movies, they are just phenomenal. So yeah, I was going through these sort of like songs on Epidemic Sound, trying to actually find, because I had a vision in my head of how I wanted the opening shot to look, and I was just literally trying to find a track that said, what is this? And I couldn't find it, really couldn't find it. Then I had a brainwave, and this is what I mean by this film expanding a little bit. I've got friends who are in bands. I've got friends who are in successful bands. I've got musicians who play regularly around London, around the UK, sometimes around Europe. So I reached out to them. I said, listen guys, I'm making this movie. can I sort of like listen to some of your music? And my wonderful friend Stuart Blackburn, who is in a sensational band called the Benhams, sort of came at me with these wonderful selection of sort of, I don't know, like Tarantino, Guy Ritchie-esque type songs. And as soon as I heard this one, Here Before, I knew it had to be in my movie. It really had to be in my movie. It was such a wonderful, opening, fast-paced, beautiful song that, yeah, I had to have that in my film. So of course I asked for permission to use it, and he sort of granted me sort of the licensing rights to use it within my sort of film, which then of course changed the title to the song, to the entire film completely, to Been Here Before. It fits the sort of narrative of the film, of this sort of like the story that goes with it. So I was quite happy to sort of go along this little journey with it by changing the name. And yeah, then I sort of sat down and I started blocking how I wanted the opening sequence to sort of like look within the sort of like the beat of this particular sort of song. And yeah, the opening sequence is probably one of my most proudest parts of being a filmmaker ever. And I can't wait to sort of show you this particular sort of wonderful trait of trying to match sort of the visual with the audio. Now, like I said before, this was going to be sort of one of the biggest films that I planned to make. The most important part of it being bigger was it wasn't just going to be me. I always planned it to be a two-hander. That was always the plan. And I have this wonderful actor friend I've sort of worked with in the past. We stayed in contact and I sort of, listen, I've written this script. I think you'll be perfect for it. And I showed him, sort of emailed it to him, and he was over the moon and he really wanted to be part of this story. Yeah, originally it was just going to be me and him, but shooting it the way that I've always been shooting my film so far, which is just me, the camera on a tripod, and sort of like trying to think of shots, how I can make the opening sequence work, how I can get this sort of like the story to be sort of portrayed. Out of sheer luck, my friend Ashley, you've seen Ashley a few times in my videos. He's a sensational videographer, a wonderful photographer, and he just sort of opened a chat one day about people who want to start making films. And I sort of approached him and said, listen mate, I'm not being funny, do you want to be the camera operator for my next film? You know, it will help me out. It would hopefully give you the sort of like the chance to actually shoot a movie. And it does mean it sort of expands my sort of shot list a little bit more. So I sent him the script and he came back to me and went, oh my God, that's awesome, let's do it. So all of a sudden I've now got myself another actor and I've got myself a camera operator, which meant I could do better shots. He has a gimbal, he has like, so I don't always need to be sort of like this far away or anything like that. So it basically expanded the opportunities on how to make this movie even better. And then once I knew I had all that going on, that's when I started thinking of other shots that I could do, especially within the opening sequence, and trying to make it a little bit better rather than it just being a static camera, which can be a little bit boring at times. Sometimes camera movement really makes a film feel more alive, makes you feel a little bit more involved in that particular sort of like story that the characters are going through. And it did, it just opened up these sensational opportunities that I originally didn't think I was going to have. And on the back of that, I thought, well, if I'm going to have a camera operator, I might need a boom operator. So again, I went out into the wonderful world of social media and I see if anyone was available to do so. And yeah, a good friend of mine, Malcolm, was more than happy to come on board and help me out. And all of a sudden I had myself a crew. And that was just insane. Not only did I have another actor, I had a small crew. And all of a sudden this project become something a lot more bigger, something a lot more spectacular. And yeah, I had to really start thinking about being more professional. And what I mean by that, by being professional, is that in the past, when I was making my films, I had a shot list. Like every single director or filmmaker will have. They'll have like a series of shots, which obviously make up the film. And before, I didn't need to tell anybody about these shots. I just need to keep them in my head. So I needed to sort of like, right, this is what I want this shot to look like. That's what I want this shot to, and I didn't need to tell anybody. It was just up here and I just made sure I went through each and every single process going along that way. But all of a sudden, I needed to tell other people. More importantly, I had to tell Ashley. So I had to create a shot list. Never done that before, completely and utterly new. So I went online, learned how to do it, sort of found a fantastic template. There's a wonderful YouTube channel called Studio Builder, which I have sort of been addicted to since I have been sort of like looking to create more and more films. And I sort of signed up to them and learned how to sort of not only make a shot list, but also a call sheet, because call sheets are very important. As an actor, I have had many call sheets in the past, and I felt just to make the whole process and project more professional, I wanted to make a call sheet as well. So I found a template for a call sheet, and I made a call sheet so that everybody who was involved, because once again, it's not just me. I can't just wake up on a Saturday and decide that I want to make this movie. I need to make sure everybody knows where they're going, what time they need to be there for, plot out a schedule, like how long it's going to be. So yeah, it all of a sudden, again, turned this sort of tiny little project into something a lot bigger. Like if it was just me and Nathan, I'll just say, listen mate, rock up at my house at 11 o'clock. But no, I had a group of people that I felt deserved a professional approach. Now, not everything can always run smoothly. There are generally hiccups along the way. Malcolm, who I've known for a very, very long time, I've known him since I was a wee boy back from my hometown, very, very good family friend. He got into a bit of an accident the night before and injured himself and had to go to hospital. And bless his little heart, like he was gutted. He didn't want to tell me, but he felt that he couldn't sort of commit to the thing. Like he didn't get out of hospital until 5 a.m. the day that we were supposed to be shooting. So it was a hiccup. Not only did we not have a boom operator, which obviously I didn't expect to have, so I had that plan B sort of in there. Part of the film involved a vehicle, involved a car, and I tried to see if I could find somebody who could lend me a car. But when Malcolm became part of the project, I said, hey, can we borrow your car? And it was like, yeah, of course we can, no worries at all. But now that Malcolm wasn't coming, I didn't have the vehicle and it was the night before. So I had to sit there and go, right, what on earth am I gonna do? I tried to hit up people who I knew who drives within London, and were they free tomorrow? Could I borrow their car for the day? Do they need it? And I kept coming up trumps. So instead of actually cancelling the entire shoot, I came up with a little bit of a guerrilla style type of sort of event, and we ended up not having a car, and we ended up sort of like shooting around it using camera angles and different ways to sort of shoot the characters and the actors, so we would give the illusion that there was a car there. And I found a couple of decent sort of sound effects on Epidemic Sound to try to sort of pretend the car existed, and I think we pulled it off. I really do. Of course, proof's in the pudding. Keep an eye out for the film. It's coming out next Friday, the 14th of July 2023 on this channel. So keep an eye out for it. But yeah, at the end of the road, these things happen. So many times have I been on a film set or I've been involved in a project where you're like, cool, this is what's going to happen. You can't help it. The only thing you can do is sort of like try to turn the uh-ohs into the ahas. That's what I tell my children when they have problems with their homework or they've got problems at school or with anything. I say, like, uh-ohs, uh-oh. No, turn those uh-ohs into ahas. And yeah, so we came up with a solution. Instead of cancelling it and having to reschedule it and hope that we can do it again and everybody's sort of involved, I turned the uh-oh into the ahas. And we did. We sort of ended up producing a very, very, very good sort of movie in the end. Well, if I do say so myself. The guys that seem to like it, they've all had a bit of a sneak peek, and yeah, people who have seen the sort of preview seem to enjoy it. Yeah, they're friends and family and people that are involved in the film, so I would definitely hope they would give me an honest opinion. But it's fun. It was good. I really enjoyed this process. So what is next for the project? Well, quite simply, first things first is to release it. Next week, the 14th of July, like I said, it is going to come live and premiere on this particular channel, and then it's to try to promote it as best as I can. Now, I want to do more promotion than what I've done with my previous films because I'm more confident with this particular project. So I am a member of filmfreeway.com, I think it's .com, which if you are a filmmaker, I highly recommend go and have a look at this sort of wonderful website. It has every single film festival that is known to man, like literally anything from the top brass ones that if you get nominated and win, you have an automatic sort of entry into the BAFTAs and the Oscars to have the potential of being a BAFTA and an Oscar nominated short film, all the way to the sort of like the new lesser known ones. But it is a great way of trying to get your work seen by other people around the world and to sort of like get a bit of a reputation. So hopefully when I release this film and I start putting it forward on Film Freeway, a few people might recognize, oh, this is Benham Media, this is Nathan, his last film did quite well. So, you know, because that's what I found out. Like, I wasn't going to enter Unhealthy Addiction into the sort of like film festivals, but a few friends convinced me to do it. And so far, free for free. I've entered into 7 different festivals and the first 3 have done it. So I've got a 100% entry rate into the festivals that I've entered into. I don't expect it to continue that way. I certainly hope I do, but because of this, I have got other film festivals who have actually reached out to me to sort of go, hi, we've seen your work, we would like it to enter into our festival. And I have gone and I've entered it and they seem to be sort of doing quite well. I find out the next 2 in September, so there is a bit of a waiting game when you enter into these festivals. If you want to know more about it, I will make a video, hit me up in the comments and let me know. But yeah, it's about promotional. But the wonderful thing about this particular film, for me personally, is that it's not just me wanting to promote it. Because I've got a team together, Nathan will promote it, Stuart will promote it. I'm pretty sure Malcolm would still promote it because, you know, he's a friend and obviously he was very interested in joining this, and I will definitely have him on board onto other projects. And of course, Ashley will want to promote it as well because it's his work and he has done a sensational job at getting these sort of camera angles and the camera shots that I required from him. Yeah, a couple of them took a bit of practice, but we got there in the end, didn't we, Ashley? We definitely got there in the end. But that's good. To have more people to want to promote this film means it's probably going to be seen by more people and it could probably grow a lot quicker. I'm going to look at doing some sort of like in-house advertisement for it as well. I've already started with the sort of trailer. It's the first one I've made a trailer for. That's already out there. I will leave it at the end of this video if you would like to watch the trailer. If not, it will be sort of linked up here somewhere. So please go and have a look and see if I can sort of like tantalize your taste buds to want to watch this film. And yeah, hopefully get it out and seen by more and more people. But I'm extremely excited about this film. I think it is probably the best film I've ever made. And yeah, well, it's only been 4, but you know, got to start somewhere, I guess. And I hope you enjoy it too. So keep an eye out for the channel. If you are interested in obviously seeing the film, the best way you can do that is, of course, subscribing to the channel. Subscribe to Benham Media. It's a little button just down there. It takes seconds out of your days. And if you do not want to miss it once it gets released, click on the bell. That way you get notified every time I release a video, not just my movies. But also, for those of you who have been sort of like asking, am I going to go out for another photo walk? Yes, I am. I am going to go out. I've got a bit of lull time coming. It's coming up to the summer holidays, so the children are going to be off. So I'm going to be taking less and less sort of client work that involves me sort of going out and about. So it means I can have a little bit more chill time with obviously the children, taking them to parks, we've got a swimming pool. But it does mean that I don't need to sort of worry about hitting deadlines for clients. So I could probably have a day or two when I can go out and take some photographs, because it's been a while. I'm not entirely too sure if I know how to take a good photograph anymore for my own personal use. Headshots are quite easy, portfolio shots are quite easy. But yeah, it'll be quite interesting doing a vlog of me taking street photography again. So that's it for this video. Guys, I hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget, the Green Room the Musical is premiere in the UK later on this year in September, October and November. If you'd like to buy tickets for that, they are still available. There will be links down there in the descriptions, and any way that you can come and find me and chat to me and talk to me, Instagram, Facebook, everything like that is also down there. If you've got any questions, quotes or queries about filmmaking, about the process of starting, please talk to me. I know a little, I'm not Spielberg, but I'm starting to learn more. And if you are interested in sort of like coming together, if you're London based, again, find me on Instagram, talk to me in the comments, and then let's have a conversation about moving forward. But guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. You know what to do. And until next time, I will see you later on. Bye.